ladies, gather round. Graham doesn't bite. She's a precious person. Precious ghost.
My name is Graham Carney. I was born right here in New Jersey in the year 1736. I was the youngest daughter of Michael Carney, who was born in Ireland. But my mother, Sarah, was the daughter of the Governor Lewis Morris. Now, not only was my grandfather the Royal Governor of New Jersey, but he was also instrumental in starting this parish. The year after the SPG, or the Society for the Propagation of the Gospel in Foreign Parts, was founded, and that was the missionary arm of the Church of England at that time, you see, he sent to the SPG in order to get an Anglican missionary to minister to the needs of the growing number of Anglicans in this area. That missionary was the Reverend George Keith, who came here in 1702 and held services in my grandfather's house in Tinton Falls for my grandfather's family and friends. And it was this service that was marking the start of this particular congregation. Now, I married my husband Samuel in the early 1750s when I was still a teenager. He was posted by the SPG in 1751 in order to be the rector here at Christ Church. We had 10 children together, although 2 died young. Our firstborn, Mary, died in the year of her birth, 1755, and she is buried here in this churchyard with me, as is our son Thomas, who died at the age of 3 in 1763. However, our other children, let's see, our second daughter, who was also named Mary, Sarah, Michael, the twins Grace and William, Isabella, Lydia, and Anastasia all lived to adulthood. I died in 1771 giving birth to Anastasia, and ironically my own mother, Sarah, had died also giving birth to me. Apparently death in birthing was much, much more common among women at that time than it is today, thank goodness. Sadly, there is no marker for my grave. Even more sadly, my husband is not here with me. Let me tell you why. My husband, Samuel, had a wonderful life here as rector of Christ Church. He loved this area and this congregation. He even turned down more lucrative posts, both in Perth Amboy and Philadelphia, which were considered very, very prestigious because they were the seats of royal governors, because he loved it so much here. Let me quote from a letter of his to the SPG. I am happy in America, happy both in my public and private capacity, happy in the love and harmony of my congregations, happy in domestic union and tranquility, and happy in such commissions here as I expect and hope nothing will intervene to prevent my ending the remainder of my days in this county. How ironic and sad these final words would be. Samuel's most significant contribution is actually standing right here on this property. He was the driving force behind the construction of this wonderful, magnificent building. He envisioned the church. He sold tickets to the lottery, which raised money in order to have it constructed, and he engaged the services of Robert Smith, noted colonial architect, in order to design the structure. Most of all, he had to fight and battle that awful Josiah Holmes, who was the vestry warden, who could not envision the beauty of the building and was convinced that it was going to collapse. Well, it was built and it did not collapse. Now, did it? But let me calm down and get back to Samuel. In 1775, when the clouds of war gathered, I had been dead for several years, and unfortunately I was not able to see this building completed because it was completed 3 years after my death. But in 1775, he discovered that his mother was dying, and he left in order to go back to England in order to see me one last time. When he left, he did not preach a fiery loyalist sermon. He preached a gentle one of reconciliation. He was never to see my grave again. He was never to to return to Shrewsbury again, and our property, which was deemed to be that of loyalists, was confiscated. However, he was able to see our children from time to time. He was posted as a missionary to the British troops in New York, and they were able to meet in New Brunswick occasionally, even though it was not safe for him to come back here. After his service with the British troops ended, he tried to retire, but the SPG refused, and at the age of 62, he was posted to another parish in St. John, New Brunswick, Canada. The SPG never had any compassion, and they would, for him or any of the other missionaries, and they would stop their salaries for events totally beyond their control. Apparently, he did a very, very good job in Canada for that parish, because they erected a wonderful monument to him, and they preached a beautiful eulogy of his death. His death was in 1795, and it was a drowning accident. He and our son Michael were trying to cross the St. John's River in order to see a sick parishioner, and unfortunately they died trying to do so. In one way, I'm glad that I died at the age of 35 and didn't have to witness the sufferings that my poor husband went through because of a horrible war that was totally not his fault. However, on the other hand, I do wish I had lived in order to be able to help him and support him in his efforts and to try to avert some of the horrible things that happened to this wonderful and very happy man. I am happy, at least, to be here near this wonderful monument to God, for which my husband Samuel was responsible. I thank you so much for your attention and wish you a very good day.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you very much.
you. You will follow me.